Da 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 da! What's my good chair? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore this inside and the outside. And here on this show, What's My Good Cheer, we spend this time that we spend every single day. I show up here and we spend this in delving a little bit deep into understanding our emotions and not just looking at it in the benefit of that humanness in us, but also in that benefit to those other parts of us who are trying to make its or theirs own movement. And I have to play partner to that. And playing partner is in building that trust with myself. I have to say, I have been pretty unaware for most part of my life. And these past 24 hours, I have been deep into this word acceptance because I've took a little bit of a peek back there, and I can see that I have been taking a lot of my dictation. I have been creating a little bit of movement, but most of that movement throughout my entire life has been dictated by others through my own choice out of a need to feel like I belong or to have some of those limitations, some of those gaps that I had in myself, to be able to fill those gaps up with resources outside of myself, right? Everybody is an expert in something, and I always say, it takes a community. It's like that village, and every person has a role to contribute to that village. You have the blacksmith, right? You have the baker, you have the candlestick maker, right? And each one of us has one of those things to contribute, but we don't want to share. We don't want to play nice, right? And in the past 24 years, or sorry, past 24 hours, on reflecting on this word, it's kind of brought me down a little bit, in truth, because I was disillusioned a little bit in some of those relationships that I thought were solid in my life, some of those relationships that would never let me fall, and I would never let them fall. That's how solid and how affirmative affirmative I was in my beliefs. And it was in those ideas of beliefs. Today I was thinking of, oh my goodness, in this idea of acceptance, did I really do that to myself? Did I just really hand over this magnificent gift of a life for somebody else to mold, or somebody else to live vicariously through, or for somebody else to use as a resource in their movement forward? Right? Deep. And it's heartbreaking because I am coming up with realizations, and but that's the movement. That's those lessons, and I can't deny the lessons. And if I want to move forward, I have to take the lessons in as they're divvying out, right? This darn sequencing, right? But it is the season, and this is going to give me something to work with over the course of the next year. I think it's going to tie in a lot with this idea of trust and building relationships, because I have been that person, and I think it was in my blind belief because, that guilt and shame for myself because I'm always tooting my own horn about me being able to spot intent. And that's the craziest, hurtful, most disillusioned and scary thing about this because some of these people were some of the closest people in my life. Some of these people I'm depending on to put the roof over my head. Some of these people are actually members of my own family. Some of these people are my neighbors. Some of these people are my coworkers. Some of these people, right, had great influence in my life. And whether it was with intent, because I believe a lot of it would have been with intent to take me down or not let me realize, not let me even wake up to any of these ideas. I'm certain that wasn't in the plan, but it happened anyway. And I'm grateful for that. So, who am I to complain about how and what the lessons are that are being divvied out to me? I have to find acceptance in those lessons because those lessons in the past 24 hours, as disheartening in some cases, as it will feed into my own hypervigilance in my own safety because I was tooting my own horn about, right, being able to spot intent, being able to spot the lie 1,000 miles away, and then to just recognize that, oh my goodness, so good that right? But it was in my own belief, I think, that I didn't even consider it. I didn't even give it a thought. I didn't even look at that because that was my safe zone, right? That was where I rooted. Those were the most important relationships in my life. That's where I trauma bonded. That's where I handed over the power, trusting, right, that it was in good hands, right? Not realizing sometimes that you put it in good hands, and even if that person had good intent with that to be in their hands, once it's in their hands and they see how it feels and how it helps and how it how it makes them feel, right? And it's how we feel that quite often dictates how we move, even when we have those lessons, right? Even when we do have good intent, right? We still hurt the people we care about the most. And the people that we care about the most are the ones that hurt us. And when right, I have to accept, I have to accept the truth, right? And I have to accept the lessons as they're divvied out to me, right? And it's in my choices whether to delve deeper, right? Or to forget and stay, or sorry, to forgive and stay. Forget? I don't know. I don't think there's any. It's come to the surface, right? It's all bubbling on the surface. You can't bury something like that without it being programmed, right? And I think that's I don't know. I don't know. I just have to play this out. I have a couple of more days in this word acceptance, right? And it's making me take a look at what I've accepted for myself, what I've expected for myself, right? And it is disheartening. I have to say it is disheartening all the way around because, you know, it shows me straight up that I am vulnerable to that I am not indispensable, that even though, right, that emotionally you could put up those walls and you could set up those boundaries, that some people are just so good. They just slide under the fence and you don't even know it's happened, right? Because you don't think it's possible, right? You've got that trust built up. You have that programming that says somebody knows better than you, right? That you better hand it all over and let somebody else make those decisions for you because they know best, right? But in the end it is in my choices, and I have to realize that, and I have to accept that understanding too, right? Because it wouldn't have happened unless, right, I accepted it as a truth. And so part of this week, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, is for me to really take a good look at my programming. And I did that a little bit this morning before I got tied up into the rest of my day. Oh my goodness. I spent half my day looking for glasses. I found the perfect pair. I put my order in. I paid for them. I danced around my living room because it's something that I can scratch off my goal list. I don't have my goal list, but I have 7 things that I want to accomplish this year or try to accomplish this year. And my fiscal year starts in September. And already I'm scratching off getting my glasses. My glasses are not cheap, right? My glasses are not cheap. And, to some people, it might be pocket change. But for me, in putting a roof over my head in a fashion that it gives me the time to take in the lessons, to be in contemplation, to move myself forward, and to realize how impacted a simple word like acceptance can have on your life, right? And I am trusting that because we're delving into this word acceptance and I'm going to be taking these lessons in, right? That maybe there might be some resolution. There might be some movement for me. There might be a little bit of acceptance and moving on, right? For that which has disillusioned me in the moment. Right? Disillusion. I'm saying it with a smile, right? Because sometimes it's just crying, talking, and time that heals these things for the most part. And and if you're hanging out with me, you've been through worse things, right? Right? This is the this is the small stuff, and it's worth absorbing into the system. It is worth absorbing into it's worth absorbing into the system if it means we can make some movement in that, or it serves a lesson for me, or it serves a lesson for possibly somebody else who's just right popping into my content for the first time. And if you are, we are picking words and we're digging into the words for the whole week in different perspectives. um Sometimes not in different perspectives, sometimes it's so impactful we just go on with the word for the whole week in the same perspective, right? But that doesn't mean we're not going to talk about it again. It just means that in that moment, it's the most pertinent, it's the most important thing. It's something that needs to be absorbed, and how it comes out is how it comes out. And I have to trust in that because I've seen the evidence in my life that if I could just let it play out the way it's supposed to play out, right? Or maybe it's not supposed to play out, but because of that combination and that interaction with my choices, right? It gets to play out. It gets to play out. And if it gets to play out, oh my goodness, we don't know what the possibilities could be, because there's only one me, right? And I'm only going to play it out Cindy style, right? Which only could mean that in the end, it could only be absorbed as a perspective, and whether that's my perspective or somebody else's or something else's, right? That is for me to decide. That's me for me to feel out, because whatever I believe in, right? That is what we're going to run with, right? That's the direction. That's right. We're on the main branch, but on that main branch there's a lot of side branches, and on all those side branches there's little twigs and offshoots and stuff. And it's all in our choices how far and how deep we want to go with any of this, right? But for me, there is no giving up, right? I accept to an extent. And I sat here and I wrote down, what do I accept? What truly, because if I'm going to make some effort to make some movement with this word, acceptance, I need to know, what do I accept? What do I truly accept? And I wrote down, I accept that I am my father's daughter. You can't deny the truth. And I accept that I am my mother's daughter. I accept that as a truth. So if I accept those two things, then possibly I can accept that idea of what's true for me will lie in between, right? Those lessons that I received in my young childhood through my mother and my father, who were my guardians, right? And so I made lists here, right? Good points and bad points of each one of them. Then I'm going to cross reference, because they're going to have a lot of the same traits, because they were both very creative, right? Both my parents were very hardworking, right? But my father was very much an intellect. He was very much a thought leader, right? Or maybe not a thought leader, but he was very introspective and very very intelligent. I always compared him to like a Jordan Peterson, maybe a little bit of a Lex Fridman, I think, right? My father was a very quiet, kind man, but everybody loved my dad, right? Because he was interesting. My father was interesting, but he had lots. I made a list of that, and then I wrote some of the bad qualities that my father had. Right, I'm not going to go into them now because I'm still working on them. Because, like I said, I got distracted by my life, right? Ordered my glasses, so proud of myself, patting myself on my back, actually dancing, exciting, threw me into a great mood. They're paid for. Oh, I'm getting my glasses, just for them to phone me and say, sorry, we can't fit your prescription in any of our frames. And I went, what? What? None? We can give you two pairs of glasses. That's what we can do, right? Because I am both farsighted and nearsighted. I am both. And my prescription is pretty wonky, but I tried to save some money, and I had the most beautiful pair of glasses. Oh, they were so nice. So back to square one. And I don't even get my money back, right? Not for a while anyway, because they have to credit the account because I already paid for them. So they said it's going to take like 5 days before they can credit the account. So I've got to wait a little bit more. Oh, it put me, oh, I was so sad after that. But it was very pleasant, and they gave me excellent service, and they phoned me right away. I didn't have to wait. It was um, I buy direct. It was really good service. So I don't feel bad for them. I accepted that they did the very best. They wanted that sale. They even tried to help me find some frames and stuff that would work, right? But I'm very particular. I need rectangle frames. I'm very, very particular, right? I have a particular prescription that makes me look like I have saucer eyes, and right, I need those rectangle glasses to be able to, was going to say live with myself, but that's not the case, right? It's not going to kill me to go a couple of more weeks with these glasses, right? It would have been a couple of weeks before they came in because these shops, they ordered them from the same places as I order my glasses. I have no idea why they rejected my prescription, but they did. But it's not a big deal. I'll just wait and I'll go and next set of days off and we'll go get my glasses, right? It is what it is. I accept that. I don't cry over spilt milk, and that's a prime example of a good way to accept. I don't accept uh somebody else's way of thinking if I don't have all the lessons at hand, if I don't have the tools and the resources to make a good decision. And I wholeheartedly would reject anything that would be spoon fed to me that didn't feel right for me. I have moved along just too far now, right? But that's okay, right? It's okay. It this right? A little bit of disillusion never hurt anybody. And the gifts in that, because I can see it too, that it's gonna help me so much. It's gonna help me so much, but at the same time, like I said, it's gonna feed into that hypervigilance a little bit because right, that little bit of trust that I did offer up, right? It's gonna have to be earned. And that's right. Has to be my intent. I have to be able to get to the field, right? I need to get to the front. And if I get to the front, lots of times I've been to the front and it hasn't hurt me in any way, right? In fact, sometimes I even thrive in that hairy scary, right? Right? Because that's when you can really shine. That's when you can really prove your worth. That's where you can truly be the evidence because nobody else is going to the front line, right? Right? Oh my goodness. We're sticking to this word this week, acceptance, right? In the beginning, I thought it was going to be a little bit about acceptance of myself, but I think a little bit is in that kink of what I accept as mine when it's not truly mine. It's just part of somebody else, right? And I've just chameleoned myself. I've just adjusted my personality, or I've adjusted how I look, or I've adjusted how I think, right? And I believe in order to accommodate somebody else, just so that I could have, I don't know, company, right? That seems a little bit silly now to take a look at that, right? But at the same time, right, we are social beings and we are in that movement to meet up with others like us, right? It's why I show up here fresh like a loaf of bread every single day, because it is in these conversations, it is in these live shows, right, that I do and that other people do. It's in the videos, it's in the shorts, it's in the novel writing, it's in the documentaries, it's in the magazine topics, right? It's just good influence and bad influence, right? And it's up to us in our choices to decide what we can believe in, right? What we can accept as a truth for ourselves, right? What can we accept? Are we strong enough to hold up against the, right? The toughies, the ones that are trying to dictate the way we think, the way we feel, right? Dictate, be the steering wheel, and, right? Because they know that we move through guilt and shame, that they steer that wheel for us. It's like the Tesla. We don't even have to have the hands on it. It just takes off with us in it, right? But we're not choosing the destinations, right? That somebody else is doing that. And it's all hand freeze. Why? Because we accepted that. It makes life easy for us, right? Tell me what to do. What do you need done? Just let me know. I've got it. Been there, right? And those are hard traits to shake off. And I don't think I would even want to shake them off because I think they're probably some of the most beautiful parts of me, right? It includes me in that group that I admire and I love so much, the light and the darknesses, right? I would like to be the light, but we understand that's not always possible, right? That's not always possible. You might be lucky, right? And you might have been gifted something. Like I said, everybody has difficulties. Everybody has handicaps, and some of them are physical, some of them are emotional, some of them are mental, right? But we all have handicaps. And so I can't see us all having, or any of us having that perfect, magnificent, right? Without lessons life. Because if that was the case, right, you'd be up there showing us the way. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer for today. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. I have to do a few things to make myself feel like I accomplished on my days off. I spent a little bit too much time on these classes, but it was part of my goals, right? And because it's bringing me down a little bit, so we're trying to boost that positivity, right? That the glasses are coming, and there was a little bit of a letdown, but that's okay, right? Because resilience, right, is an amazing trait to build on every once in a while. And in doing that in baby steps, right, I'm going to build. It's not going to kill me, not in the least, right? I've been wandering around since I got back from my vacation with these glasses the way they are, right? Another couple of weeks ain't going to make any difference at all. And I would not be surprised that possibly that those glasses that I ordered might not have looked as amazing on me as I thought. That maybe it was just in that desperation of being able to find a pair of frames that would match my prescription. That was the incentive. I don't know. I'm thinking, right, that possibly this was a save. But because I don't know all the background details, right, that I'm just thinking of it as a little bit of a disappointment. But in the end, it might be a save, right? I might go out and find the most perfect pair. I might get that 2-for-1 deal, right? I might get that miracle and I don't need glasses at all. You never know. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer, and we'll see each other tomorrow. Bye.